Hello guys. I think I'm making this video because I have figured out a way to almost always get through the chomper of level 7, which is what, at least for me, was blocking me from getting many attempts at level 7 skip. So, to start, we first need to understand this table I have right here. So, whenever you do this right here, there are some RNG factors that determine how fast you can start going through the chomper. Like, how long does the guard take to get into the position where you can hit him? Is it just this? Sometimes he strikes, sometimes he doesn't. So, I wasn't thinking there. So what the three variables that are related to the guard, let's put them in blue because they are the guard color. These are the three variables that the guard takes in relation to the time. Right after you guard jump him, he can either hit you, or sometimes, very less frequently, he can not hit you. Also, he can stop at different distances from you. He can stop at 1 step from you, 2 steps from you, or 3 steps from you. And finally, the last thing the guard has control over is the strike. When you cross him, which can either be when you're going through him, he throws a strike and you wait a little bit, or you go through him. So what we ideally want is to get always to know always when we can just straight up attack him, or when we have to delay. So my idea is that knowing what happens in the scenarios, you can act accordingly to each one. But don't worry, you won't have to remember each one, because that would be fucking too much. But there is a way to remember just a little bit of stuff, and you'll be able to get every different RNG that the guard throws at you, and you'll be able to get through the chomper. So long, of course, you follow the correct previous setup, which means which is the one I'm about to show you, and you have to do it without hesitation and stuff. It needs to be a good setup, otherwise this won't work, of course. So the setup is essentially just get here, run jump, get hit, go back and save your sword. And from there you have to react and do different things. That is a setup, so long you do that in a way that the guard, for example, one way to fuck up is I'm about to show you. I'm gonna show you in a second a way to fuck up. Sometimes a fuck up can be not being able to careful step fast enough, and so the guard will strike you and fuck up all the timing. So that's the thing. Okay, very nice. These are the guard variables, but how do we change the timing? Well, we change it by using the only variable we have, which is the only variable we need, which is this one, the delay. We have a specific delay that will let us change the timing so that when we strike him, he can always go through. One clarification is that how I strike him, because it also affects the timing. Everything you do affects the timing. So I will show what I do to strike, which is essentially parry and then strike. I will show it now. So here I show you an example of attacking, just parry and then strike. And now I will show you an example of delaying. How do I do my delays? The delay is this. It's the same, but first you block and then you advance and strike, without getting hit, of course. But you may be thinking, well, that delay, does delay your time, but also moves you a pixel, which then won't let you do the next part of the skip. For that, you need to have a different setup both for the jump and for making the guard forward. It's very simple though. Normally, what you would do is this. So that's just the normal setup. Then what you do is you duck, wait for the chomper, and jump. Here you careful step, 2 steps back, save your sword, bada bing, bada boom, and that's it. And here you just, well, boom. So that's the normal way. Compro unas cosas para un rato y llegará a 3, 4 de la tarde, hijo.
¿Todo bien?
Sí.
Te pregunto por la presentación yo.
So what you have to do here, which is once you did the delay part, is you need to normally you need to duck and then jump. Instead of jumping, let me grab my mouse. Instead of this is what I use as a visual cue. Instead of jumping here, you need to jump a little bit backwards. Well, then you will be able to use your own cues, of course. After we time this, we jump, get here, do the same thing, careful step, 2 steps backwards, save sword, and we go through. But instead of just doing that, we need to block him first. If not, he will hit us and we will die. And then it's just the same thing. There's no change here. Okay, but now you might be saying, okay, very good. We know how to do the normal strike, we know how to delay, but when do we delay? In which situations? How am I supposed to learn every single one of these possibilities? No, don't worry, it's not like that. Okay, then the system works the following way. It's quite simple actually. It's just a matter of minus, sorry, what was it? Minus and minus equals plus. It's just as simple as that. So it's the same thing here. These values, no hit, 2 and 3, and strike will take the value of a minus and the rest of a plus. So these ones, no hit, 3, 2, strike, and that delay that we make will make also take the value of a minus. So our objective is that the result of this chain is a plus. If we get a minus, we will get jump. If it's a plus, it will work. So, for example, say here, hit, it's a plus. So plus 1 is a plus, also plus. But plus and minus equals minus. So we need to add a delay so that minus and minus equals plus, and we get through. Here, since there's all pluses, there's no need for a delay. Here, for example, there's a plus and 2 minus already, so we don't need to add another minus. If we add another minus, it will probably not work. So that's essentially what the whole idea is based around. There are a few exceptions, as it is shown in color, which I will explain right now. So there are a total of 3 exceptions. One of which is it's not important, like you can forget about the exception and it will work. So the one that it's not important, it's this one, which comes together. So if you see, you can see that they both have the same guard RNG, but one delays and the other doesn't. If we were to go by this rule of signs, minus and minus, you would see that we have 2 minus. So in theory we shouldn't delay, but when we delay it still works. This happens because the time is really like the timing works for both of them. It's the only scenario where the time works for both of them. So you can just keep going with the rule of symbols and you will always get through it, and it's actually the faster one to do it with the rule of symbols, since you don't delay if you do it with the rule of symbols. The next delay comes from here, which adds one rule that's not very neat, but it's still here, which is essentially no hit and 2 makes 2 not be a minus instead of it being a plus. ¿Qué pasa, amigo? Sí, sí. That's essentially it. So this means that if you see a no hit and a 2, then it works. The no hit, the 2 starts working as a 1, like as a plus. That's the only real rule to make this work. And the final case, which is kind of shady, but well, it happens very rarely that you get a no hit, a 3, and a strike, which means you get all of these. Then even if you delay, you won't get it, and if you don't delay, you won't get it. You shouldn't get it, but you still don't get it if you delay. So that's are the 3 exceptions. So now I'm gonna show you clips of a lot of these situations. I didn't record all of them. Some are very weird, rare compared to others, but they all have happened to me once or twice at least. I actually spent like way more time than I should have, like more than an hour just doing this, like constant attempts. Like I have tested this and it holds up. So long you do the whole setup correctly, of course. And so I'm gonna show some clips now. Well, okay, I hope that was helpful in some way. At least for me, it really has improved my consistency of getting through the card through the chomper. Might there be a faster setup, a more consistent way of doing it, a simpler way of remembering this stuff? Maybe. I don't know. This is what I came up with. I hope it's useful and it brings more level 7 skips to our runs. If you have any doubts, anything, don't doubt in consultating me. I don't know how to say that. And if you guys need the sheet with the results, you can also send it. And if you find a result that isn't shown in the table, please tell me with a video if possible, and I would love to see those results that I didn't got, because I didn't got all the possibilities, even though I spent a lot of time. However, some possibilities are probably not possible to happen. For example, no hit +1. I know that it doesn't work because when he doesn't hit you, he stays really behind, so there's no way he gets to the 1 spot. One more thing, if you guys need the spreadsheet, I will put it in the end of the video, and if you need it, if you want the sheet itself, you can just send me a message and I will send you the Excel sheet. Well, that's all for me. I hope this is useful. See you later. Alligator.